What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. We're going to kick things off with our positive, motivational message of the week. And this week, I want to tell you, don't be ashamed to be your true, authentic self. We are all unique individuals. Every possible version of any kind of person, it exists out there. There's no need for you to try and wear a mask and try and pose as something you're not. I understand that there are plenty of reasons for people to do this or for people to want to do this. And if you're not okay with who you are or like certain mannerisms or certain things about you, it's okay to try and work on those. I'm not saying just if you're ashamed of what you of the person you are, it's not okay to change some of those things. But I think it's better for you to lean in and accept your true self and just be who you are. And naturally, people who like you and are like you will gravitate to you. And vice versa. You will find the people that are much like you, and you can relax and be who you truly are. You don't have to hide behind a shadow. You don't have to pretend to be something you're not, put on this acting face or whatever it is. I've felt guilty of that, you know. I've tried to pose as certain, things that I think I want to be or things I don't know. It's hard to explain. But I find I am much more at ease and much more comfortable when I accept who I am. And I accept this is the true me. So that's the message this week. Be unashamed to be your true, authentic self. And with that, let's get into today's episode. It's episode 204 of Life's a Garden. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Life's a Garden. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't yet, please like, share, subscribe, follow on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. We are available everywhere. And share the word. Let's grow this garden. We are over 200 episodes now, and we are just keep on keeping on. You gotta love it. You know what else I love? So, on my way here, I've been house sitting for a friend of mine. They went on a trip and they had to leave their dog behind. So, they asked me if I would house sit for them. So I've been kind of between two houses. I got to come back to my place, make sure everything's still looking good. Plus, I got to go there and check on the dog and do all this. So I've been kind of back and forth, right? Stayed the night at their house last night. Hung out with the dog this morning, took him for a walk, all that shit. And I'm coming back here to do the podcast. And it's so cool to see. Because I feel like there was a while there where we weren't seeing it as much. But not just today, but over this whole weekend, I have noticed so many lemonade stands. Just kids out there trying to get that bag, right? They're just little entrepreneurs. And I remember doing that as a kid. I remember setting up stands and we would do like cookies and lemonade and stuff like that. Now, I know inflation is a thing. $1 a cup is a little steep, but your boy, he's sitting all right. He's been making his own bag. So naturally, I'm more than willing to go over there and spend $1 on a cup of lemonade. Because here's the thing. It's not about the lemonade. Like, was the lemonade good? It was all right. It wasn't the best lemonade I ever had. Have you been to the fair, though? Their lemonade's pretty decent, and they're selling it for fucking $8. So, yeah, I'll buy a fucking mediocre cup of lemonade for $1, not because I'm thirsty or because I just am a lemonade connoisseur. I'm doing it because that kid put in the effort. They set up the table, they made the signs, they made the lemonade, maybe the parents did, and maybe they threw a little LSD in there, who knows. I wish. Then it would be worth the dollar. But nonetheless, this kid woke up one morning, or maybe it was a couple weeks he was planning this, and he or she, whatever, and they planned all this stuff out, got excited, set up on a corner, and they did the thing. They actually went out and did a thing. I can't say the same for fucking half the people out here bumming for money. At least these kids are offering a service of some kind. And like I said, it seems like over the course of the last few years, you haven't really seen a lot. Now, COVID, all that bullshit, that probably put a little damper on that. But you add in the aspect of there being all these helicopter parents. Parents are just so, and understandably so. Trust me, I get it. I'm not blaming them for the craziness in the world and all the fucking, sketchy people out there. I get it. Wanting to be mindful of what your kids are up to and having them go out and talk to strangers and receive money from adults. That can be stressful as a parent, I would imagine. And I feel like you really just haven't seen a lot of it over the last few years. This weekend alone, I swear I saw at least 6 lemonade stands. And every time I drive by one, I feel a little bit of guilt for not stopping if I don't stop. And today I finally was like, you know what? I flipped a bitch. I went back and I bought a lemonade. I gave him $2 and he tried to give me 2 lemonades. I was like, no, man, that's a tip for you. You understand when you work service, you get tipped. That's how this works. If I can go to a bar and buy and order a $4 beer, I can go get a $1 fucking lemonade. You know what I mean? On a hot summer day, nothing better. So it's just nice to see that again. It's been a welcome sighting is to see the lemonade stands out and about. Little entrepreneurs just getting ready for. They think they like it now. Just wait till they have to do a 9 to 5 every single day of the week. They're like, oh man, this is not as fun as the weekend lemonade stand. But they're just going to get maybe $20-$30, go buy some Pokemon cards, and they're going to love it. They're going to earn that money, and they're going to understand the value of $1. When they see those cars passing by, that's the disappointment. When you see the car pull up, that's the hard work paying off. So get it. Go out and get it, kids. Now, you may have noticed the brand new merch that I am sporting here. The brand new Cutthroat merch has arrived. Our summer series of shirts. We got the Coors Light shirt, and we also have a PBR shirt. Now, before anybody gets on me about this shit, almost slipped up there. Almost had a little bit of a, what do you call it? Pause moment. Don't get on me about all this bullshit right here, because this shirt right here, fully legal or whatever. I got this font on a font site that I use, a reputable font site. It was available. It's free. This is just a generic fucking clip art mountain image, and then the other one's our logo. So this one is completely royalty free, this shirt. Now the PBR one, and let's go ahead and keep this on the DL, just you and me. You hear me out? PBR one could pose a problem. Now, I don't know anything legally. I don't know anything. I'm just saying that one's up in the air, and we'll find out. I'm hoping that it all goes clear. We might just have that one be a limited run. So get yours while you can, because they might not stick around too long. But these bad boys, and you know me, I love my Coors Light, and I love my Cutthroat. So these shirts are where it's at for me. I think they look sick. I'm going to pat myself on the back for this one, because this was my idea, and I designed the whole thing. So kudos to your boy on that one. I thought it was smart, summer series. And in addition to coming out with the beer shirts, we also now have koozies. By popular demand, after the fake news show, those guys have koozies, and everyone was like, well, you guys got to get koozies too. Well, guess what? They're here. We got them in black, red, well, it's black, maroon, gray, and blue. Royal blue. And plus, it's got the little emblem on the bottom too for a nice little grip when you're sitting at the bar. Let's go ahead and crack that bitch open. Now, speaking of the band, I want to thank everybody who came out to the show this past weekend on Friday night. Great turnout. I thought it was a really good turnout for a Friday night in the summertime. A lot of people that, you know, there were, I listen to me. I try very hard to be humble and to be, you know, I mean it. I'm not trying to say any of this to sound fucking douchey or anything like that. There was a pretty good majority of the crowd there, specifically for us. Now, I will attribute that because I know for a fact Mopsquito and Pressure Knot have great fans and great crowds. I know that. I'm going to credit that to the fact that both those bands just played with each other 2 weeks ago. And it kind of gets hard. That's why we've been separating our shows a lot. Because when we played at St. Patrick's Day, that was only 3 weeks after we played at Pub Station. And we didn't have a great turnout. Because it's hard for, you know, when somebody sees you 1 week or, you know, 2 weeks previous, it's like, okay, I just saw them. I'll wait till the next time they play. When you wait a couple months or a month and a half or whatever, then that builds that anticipation. So I'm not saying that those guys can't bring a crowd. Trust me, I've seen them bring crowds. And they had people there. I'm not saying they didn't have anybody there for them. But I'm saying there was a pretty decent majority of people that came to see us. And that was cool. I love it. I love when our fans show up. It has been a while since we played, so I think that's a credit to that aspect of things. And there was a couple people that just walked in. Just a couple randos. And I love that as well. I was very pleased with how it sounded. I'm always so nervous about just my voice in general, making sure that people can hear me and that I'm able to like enunciate my shit well so people can understand the lyrics, but mostly just making sure I'm on pitch and on key. And this time and I wasn't even wearing my in-ears. Some of the videos I've heard, I'm not disappointed. There's certainly things that I could have improved on. Not disappointed. I thought our stage presence was probably one of the best we've ever had. I was fully exhausted after that, drenched in sweat, but we were moving around. You know, everybody was really getting into it. We got a good crowd up front. Overall, just a great night. And hey, shout out to Mopsquito and Pressure Knot, always putting on a great show. In addition to everything, we had like a 50-50 raffle for fellow musician Mike Hutchinson, who had passed away earlier this week. Super sad to hear about that. I didn't know Mike personally, but I know a lot of the guys that played that night did, and it was really cool. I mean, Ben from Pressure Knot messaged me. He's like, "Hey, are you cool if we do this?" I'm like, "Of course. I'm always down." We've been my family's struggled at times where we had to do shit like that for us. I've had plenty of friends that had to do stuff like that. We've always been willing to be a band that's part of a like a raffle, or what do you call it? Like a donation or a why can't I think of the word? God. Charity? Just any kind of a charitable event. We're always willing to do stuff like that. We do the Toy Run event every year. That's the next one coming up in August. That'll be the next show we play. So I'm always down for that. And so cool to see the community come out. The music community, the local communities, and to be able to give that money and it's awesome. I love it. It makes me so proud to be part of the music community and to see what we can do. We raised over $1,000 for the family to help just ease the burden a little bit. It's tough. I've been there. I've had to receive donations, and I'm more than happy to ever give donations because I get it. I've seen it. I get it. It's tough. I mean, like I said, it probably would have been a little bit tougher for me had it been somebody I knew closer. But I know of his family. I know his brothers. I've met them. You know what I mean. And it sucks to see your fellow band member, your fellow musicians in the community hurt. That sucks. You feel for them. So I'm always willing to be a part of a benefit like that and to just help out when needed. And so it was cool that we were able to help make that part of the show. We got the new merch. We sold a decent amount of the new merch. Just overall a great show. Thank you to Craft Local. Thank you to all the fans. Thank you to all the friends. Thank you to the bands. To everybody involved. It was a great night of music. And I can't say enough about it. Now, after the show, I was taking down those microbrews pretty hard. Probably a little more than I should have. And my plan after the show, because we stayed to the end, wanted to pay our respect, and I haven't seen Pressure Knot in a while, so I was stoked to get to see them. They put on a hell of a show as always. And then we had to pack everything up, So my plan was always to go to the Crystal. That's usually where I like to have my after party at. But Aaron likes to go to the Rainbow, and I know a lot of the guys were going over there, so I'm like, yeah, fuck it, let's go over to the Rainbow. Let's just party it up with everybody. Let's have some fun. So we go down to the Rainbow. First thing that happens is Ron from Pressure Knot, who was on the show last week. If you haven't seen that episode, go back and watch it. He's walking out, and I'm like, hey, brother, great show. Let's do a celebratory shot. So it's me, him, and Aaron. He wants to do Jameson. I'm like, who am I to deny a Jameson shot to anybody? So we do the JMOs. Fat fucking Jameson shot. If you've ever been to the Rainbow, you know how they pour. It's heavy pours. And that alone almost put me in a goddamn coma. I went to the bathroom because I actually did have to piss. And on the way, I'm just like, whoop. I'm not even going to lie to you. Thinking about that shot right now makes me want to throw up. Had a couple more beers at the Rainbow and another shot, I believe. Go outside. We're hanging out. And who rolls up? Tony Horton, who has also been on the show. Friend of the show. Music. Another local music guy. Lead singer and bass player, I should mention, of 1 second ago. So he pulls up. We're all bullshitting. We're outside talking. And he lights up a joint. So he passes it to me. I'm like, fuck. This is the point where I'm like feeling pretty good. I'm buzzing pretty hard. I might even be on the edge of drunk. Let's just go ahead and say it. I was drunk. And and because I wouldn't have taken a puff off of a weed if I hadn't been drunk. I know what crossfade feels like. It's not fun for me. Sure as shit, I take a nice rip off that joint, and I'm like, oh, God, that's going to hit me. And I'm sure Tony gets some dank weed. Not even kidding. 5 minutes later, I can barely stand. I'm seeing double, and I'm telling Aaron, I'm like, bro, you got to get me out of here. Here's my keys. We got to go. So we end up going to his place. Sarah, his girlfriend, drives us to his place. Immediately upon arrival, puking my guts out. Like gasoline. I didn't that probably didn't help either that I didn't eat a whole lot that day. Because I don't like to eat the day of a show. Because then you get all the gassy and bloated and shit. So I try not to eat heavily the day of a show. So I'm already working on an empty stomach, basically. And then, fuck me. So, yeah, just absolutely puking my guts out. And it's pure gasoline. I remember that specifically. Go up his stairs. It's a fucking steep-ass set of stairs that are already wonky looking. And I'm just I'm army crawling up these stairs. Because I'm like, do not fall. You are definitely drunk enough and high enough at this point. I was dealing with a serious crossfade. That's what was going on. So I'm like crawling up these stairs. I get up there, puke a little more, and then pass out on his floor. They're like, dude, just sleep on the couch, sleep on the chair, whatever. I'm like, no, I want to sleep on the floor. That's where I slept when I was a kid. Which isn't a lie. I used to sleep on the floor a lot. And so apparently I just wanted to go back, take a trip down memory lane. So I slept on the floor. Woke up at 8 o'clock and decided, okay, I was good. I felt better. Fuck, I bet by the time we got back to Aaron's, it was only maybe midnight, maybe 1 o'clock. So yeah, I slept one off, got up at 8 o'clock, walked back to my car, my truck, which was probably 6-7 blocks away, so it wasn't bad. Probably good for me to get some fresh air. I walk down there, drive to my buddy's house, who I'm house sitting for, make sure his dog's let out and fed and all that stuff, and I slept till noon. That was how that went. And I thought, hey, the responsibility of house sitting for somebody and making sure their dog is all right and all this shit, maybe that'll keep me, that'll keep me from getting too fucked up, and it'll keep me responsible, right? Well, apparently not. And that is me being my authentic self. Because you know what I like? I like to hang. I don't drink to get fucked up. I promise you. I drink to have fun. I drink when there's people around. Just the other night, I was hanging out at the Crystal, and I told myself, I was like, hey, because me and Aaron went to watch it was Thursday night. Me and Aaron went to watch the game 1 of the NBA Finals, because he's a Celtics fan. And I told him after the game, I was like, dude, I'm good till 11 o'clock. I got to be out of here by 11 o'clock. And 11 o'clock rolls around. Guess what? Bunch of new people show up that I'm excited to see. And I'm like, God, I want to hang. Like, I like the hang. I like chilling with people who I don't normally get to chill with. I like it when people who are normally working are not working and we get to drink together. And it was a lot of that. And so I'm like, fuck it, we're pushing it back to midnight. And then finally midnight did show up, and I was like, I forced myself to leave, even though I didn't want to. Now, on top of that, I did have to work the next day, so I was like, okay, we definitely got to still be a little responsible, so I'm not like feeling like an absolute bag of dicks in the morning. And I felt fine. I was good. I was just mostly a little tired. Oh, and we had the show the next day, so I definitely didn't want to feel like shit. Yeah. Apparently that's my authentic self, is responsibility goes out the window so long as fun is on the table. And that's pretty much how it goes, man. So, cheers to all that. And then, yesterday, well, 2 days ago, from when this comes out, we went to the Outlaws game. And the plan was to do a tailgate party beforehand. And then Drew was supposed to play the national anthem. We did end up getting the tailgate together, which God knows how I pulled that shit off. I barely was. If it was up to me, I could have stayed in bed all day. Didn't want to do that. I wanted to at least enjoy my Saturday. So I did sleep for most of the day. Took the dog for a walk. Did all that. Came here. Got all my shit loaded up. Went to the store. Got all the groceries. And we went out to the Metro parking lot. Set up a nice area. And we had a decent turnout of people. It was fun. We had a good time. But then it came time for Drew to go down and set up for his national anthem. Well, he goes down there, and they tell him, oh, I'm so sorry. We tried to get a hold of you to confirm that you were still coming, and we never heard back from you. Well, that is an absolute bullshit lie. I tried to reach out to them before this happened, and they never got a hold of me or Drew. They had both of our contacts. The fact that they tried to get a hold of whoever, I mean, here's what I think. And no shade thrown on the Outlaws. Yes, this incident did kind of piss me off, because just the night before at our show, we made a huge announcement in front of a bunch of fans and friends that Drew was going to be playing the national anthem at the Outlaws game the next day. So now we look like fucking assholes. Here I am promoting the Outlaws, trying to get people to come out to the game, and they fuck us over. And it was a nationally televised game. Now, I don't know if the anthem would have been on TV, but it would have been pretty fucking cool if it was, or to even have the opportunity. Great game, by the way. The game was awesome yesterday. How cool would that have been to have Drew kick that off? Missed out on that opportunity. And what I think is that they double booked it, and they forgot that Drew was supposed to play that day. They didn't try to get a hold of nobody. And in addition, I tried to get a hold of them, and they never said jack shit. So I am a little burnt about that. And I love the Outlaws. I'm an Outlaws fan. I've been an Outlaws fan forever. So it really sucks when that happens. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this as well. Jeff Fisher, ex-NFL head coach of the Tennessee Titans and the St. Louis/LA Rams, he was in attendance because he's the new general manager, I think, or the new director of operations for the AFL, the Arena Football League. He was in attendance. Pissed. He could have been there to see that. Andrew Miller from the band Cutthroat playing your national anthem. So that fully pissed me off. And here's another thing. So you tried to reach out to us, right? We tried to reach out to you. There was clearly some confusion, or there was somebody dropped the ball somewhere, okay? But you know for a fact that he was supposed to do this before. He showed up to do it. We all thought this was still happening. And the least you could have done was offer him fucking free tickets to the game. Right? That's the least you could have done. Was be like, well, we are so sorry that this happened. Let us at least get you some tickets to the game. How hard is that? To show a little bit of good graces and goodwill towards us for fucking up on this. God, that pisses me off. And it doesn't surprise me because this whole Arena Football League is already in heavy dysfunction. That's why Jeff Fisher had to step up to be the new director of operations, because the people who started this league, this is year 1 of this league, okay? Year 1. And already it's full of fucking dysfunction. Our program has a bunch of dysfunction. The entire league has dysfunction. Now, I'm not praying for its downfall by any means. I hope it works out. I've always hoped it worked out. But Jesus, dude, can we get somebody in charge of this that has a fucking clue? And I'm not even, like, the AFL alone, hey, I hope it works out. And I hope Jeff Fisher's the guy for the job. But Billings Outlaws, it's been 3 years that this team has been back. Can we get our fucking shit together? Please? Every game I go to, I'm always reminded of how much better it used to be. I'm like, this used to be the absolute shit. The production, the team, now the team actually is really good this year. I'm not going to shit on the team. But like the uniforms were way better. The production, like the entrance and all that shit, every aspect of it. And those games used to be fucking sold out. They used to be at least half sold out. And it's like, you know what's going to get people back? The production. And the team is already good. The team is doing what they need to do. I like the coaching staff. I like what we're doing. But, bro, let's up the game. The fucking grass, the field looks like shit. I'm like stunned that we can't, we know how it used to be. Why can't we get back to that? Just saying. And I'm done with the rant. We're moving on. Speaking of outlaws, speaking of people who are in trouble with the law, former President Donald Trump has been indicted on 34 or 38 counts, felony counts of, I guess I don't even know the actual felony that he's been charged with, but it was for, it was a hush money thing with former porn star Stormy Daniels. Now, let's see, where do we begin with this? First of all, I don't even know if this disqualifies him to be president, I feel like we already would have heard about it if it did, because I haven't heard shit about him not being able to run still. I think it helps push for certain places to be able to take him off the ballot, but I've not heard any of that either. So I'm fully unaware of how this affects anything. If anything, it makes him more popular. I think this is going to galvanize the Trumpers. The hardcore Trumpers are for sure going to vote for him. We already know that. And just like the hardcore Dems are going to vote for Biden. But the hardcore Trumpers are always going to vote for him. And now you're galvanizing all the people who think that this is being done as a way to discredit or to get him pushed off the ballot as like a means of just fuckery by the left. That's going to galvanize them. They've already said the black vote is up by a tremendous amount because now the rapper community. The rapper community is getting around Trump because he caught those felonies. So now he's like a gangster. And what did he do immediately after catching those felonies? He showed up to a sold-out New Jersey crowd at the UFC event to a 5-minute standing ovation. You think that this is gonna hurt him in some way? I don't know, man. It seems like it's only gonna help him. I don't understand. It's just all been some kind of a push to try and whatever. I don't know. I trust the justice system. I think if they found him guilty of it, then he's guilty of it. But does it change anything? Is the question. It doesn't seem like it's going to. So we shall see moving forward, but that's some big news. Trump is a felon now, and he would be the first felon to ever be president, I believe. Unless maybe I don't know if Clinton actually caught one. See, that's the other thing too, is they're like, he's a criminal. See, we told you all along he was a criminal. Dude, they're all fucking criminals. Fucking Obama was a war criminal with all the fucking bombs he dropped on innocent children. We know Clinton was a criminal. Prove that. Nixon was a criminal. I'm sure we could throw Bush in there as a criminal for invading Iraq when it never was Iraq. Dude, they're all fucking criminals. So what are we talking about here? Just because he's the first one that caught an actual felony? Give me a break. They're all fucking criminals. And you think hush money on a porn star is bad? You probably wouldn't believe some of the people that they've paid off. You ever heard of Jeff Epstein? Yeah. So this is, and does it come as any real surprise? You think Trump is the first former president or presidential candidate to pay off some hoe for hush money? Dude, there's probably presidential candidates that paid off dudes for some weird shit they did. Are you surprised? Does this come as a shock to anybody? I'm not. He was a reality TV star. You don't think he was getting pussy all the time? Come on. I'm sure he's paid plenty more people in hush money than just Stormy Daniels. It's just, and was the whole thing because it was supposedly campaign funds? Is that why it was the felony? Because as far as I know, it's not illegal to pay somebody to shut their mouth. I'm pretty sure that's fully legal to do. In fact, shouldn't she catch a felony for taking that money and then still talking? Or should she have to give all that money back? I'm not sure. I don't know where all the legalities come from in all this. I don't know if she signed any NDA or whatever it was. Either way, the Trumpster's a felon, and I think he's gonna win. And I'm not pulling for anybody in this race. I don't give a fuck. All I know, I want my taxes cheaper, and I don't want to go to war. That's my fucking ballot. That's the ballot I'm checking. Make my taxes cheaper, and don't put me in a fucking war. Boom. Bring jobs back to America. Let's not bring every fucking illegal immigrant into America. Let's keep our borders safe. You know, these, and I know that all sounds like very right-wing shit, but that's just how I feel. That's me being my authentic self. These are the things that I want as a 30-year-old man. Anyway, moving on. So, here's a little juice. We'll go back to the lemonade reference. There was a little juice, a little sweet and sour juice about me fairly recently, and your boy made sure to get the entire squeeze out of that. So, let's just go ahead and set this up. I'll go ahead and set this up for anybody out there who may not know. So here in Billings, there is a private Facebook page called Are We Dating the Same Guy? It's a bunch of women who they're on this page, and basically what they do is if they start dating somebody, they will post a picture and tell everybody about them, who they are, and basically just be like, is anybody out there dating the same guy? Is he being loyal to me? And first off, let me just say this. I get it. I get why these ladies feel the need to have a page like this. Because as a disgusting man myself, I get it. I've seen it. I've never done it, but I get it. I get why you'd have to keep a check on some of these dudes out here who are fooling around with other people, who are dating somebody and then dating somebody else. I get it. I fully get it. But it, well, no, anyway. So, moving forward, that's what the page is. It's basically just keeping these dudes in check, making sure they're being loyal, and that they're not fooling around. And that's cool. I get it. I get that you gotta do that. Now, here's the thing, and I think you all see where this is going. Couple weeks ago, your boy found himself on this page. Now, I didn't find myself because I'm not on the page, but I know a lot of people who are, and I'm not gonna tell you who they are, because apparently. And let me just say this first. I got told this by at least 8 different people. I had at least 8 different chicks come up and be like, "Hey, did you hear that you were on that page?" It's like, "Yeah, I heard. I heard from all these other people." And there's a secret code apparently, or there's a rule, a written or unwritten rule to be a part of this page is you're not allowed to tell any of the guys that have appeared on there. You're not allowed to talk about the page. The first rule of Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club. Well, I got told by quite a few people. And that should come as no surprise to all these ladies out here, because, I mean, sorry to break the news to you that your fucking snitch rat page has a bunch of snitches and rats. Okay? You should have known that. That's basically what this page is. It's ratting out dudes. It's trying to catch dudes, and they're being rats. Now, I'm not saying the dudes are right if they get caught, but is that not kind of what this page is? It's kind of a snitch page. So none of you gals should be at all surprised when snitches go and snitch on all the snitches. Huh? Haven't you ever heard snitches get stitches? You silly bitches. Come on. Anyway, so I get word that I've ended up on this page. And my first thought is, well, that's interesting, because the name of the page is Are We Dating the Same Guy? And I haven't dated anybody in over 6 years. Now, I've been on plenty of dates, and I've had a few girls throughout that 6 years where it was casual. Like I was more, what's the word? Committed to certain girls. It just never worked out. Okay? That's how that's as close to dating as I've come in 6 years. And by the way, that's by design. Not because I can't find somebody. It's because I choose to not date anybody. And we'll get to that here in a minute. I think I've already pretty much discussed that on the show anyway, why I choose to stay single. And it only increasingly gets more and more, like, I only agree with myself the more time goes on. So anyway, that's my first thought is, why would I be on this page? I'm not dating anybody, nor in the last few weeks have I really been, like, engaged with anybody. Like, I've talked to a few girls, and I've hung out with a few girls, but I'm not, like, in any committed thing, or any, like, fully, like, thing. There's not a thing. There's no things going on. So I'm like, what the fuck is this all about? Why would I even be on this page? And so, finally got to the bottom of it, because, like I said, when there's juice about your boy, he likes to get the full squeeze. And apparently somebody posted on there, by the way, anonymously, so I can't even find out who this person is. I don't even know exactly who posted it. They posted anonymously. Been talking to this guy recently, just want to see if there's any red flags. Fair enough. That's not what this page is about, but fair enough. And to the credit of the crew, to the credit of your group, and to the credit of me, I'll give myself a pat on the back for this. A lot of good stuff said about me. You know why? Because I'm a good guy, okay? Yeah, I might be a fucking scumbag sometimes. Yeah, I might be a fucking piece of shit. I mean, there's definitely times I am a full-on piece of shit, okay? I'm a guy. Your page knows. Your page knows how shitty guys are. But I know how shitty some girls are, too. So it goes both ways. Nonetheless, I was happy to see that there was good things said about me, because that's who I want to be. That's who I want to authentically be, is a good guy. I truly try to be. And let me just say this as well, because there was a few girls on there that had, said like, yeah, I dated this guy before, or I'd hung out with this guy before. First of all, anybody who said they dated me is a lie, because I have not dated anybody. However, like, okay, if we went on a date, or if we went on a couple dates, if we hung out, if we fooled around, we are not dating, okay? That is not dating. Dating is when you commit to one another, and you decide to make it a relationship. That is what dating is. Going on a date does not mean you dated somebody, okay? I know that does sound kind of convoluted and not correct, but it is. In the terms of what those words mean, what I just said is correct. Anyway, it was nice to know that I had been talked well about in that regard. I had something else I was going to say, and now I've forgotten it. Oh, it is somewhat embarrassing, though, to have a group of, women talking about you behind your back, and now all of a sudden, they all know who you've been with. I mean, whatever happened to behind closed doors, or don't kiss and tell, whatever happened to don't kiss and tell. That's basically what happened in that scenario. So it was a little bit embarrassing in that regard. I'm just happy to know that I wasn't talked negatively upon, especially if it was by girls who I may have, upset them or broke their hearts or whatever. Now, here's the other thing I will say, okay? For the most part, and I know I've probably dropped the ball a few times on this, for the most part, if I'm talking to a girl, or if I'm, hanging out with a girl or whatever, I do my best to be very transparent and open and honest about my intentions. There is not one time I have promised any girl this is gonna like be something serious. And I'm open to it. I'm open to a committed relationship. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like fully walls down. But if we're just starting, if we're just meeting and stuff, I do have walls up. I'm like, I have reservations about whether or not this shit's gonna work or not. Because I've been down all the roads. I've seen the whole thing. Yeah, I'm cool with hanging out. I'm cool with going out. I'm cool with all this and that. That's all fine and dandy with me. And if things work out, then they work out. But so many of these girls have this vision and this like desire to just have a relationship right away. And I'm like, don't get your fucking hopes up about that. Basically, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, don't get your hopes up that this is going to like fully work out, because it takes a lot for me to commit to somebody. Now, the thing that bothers me about so many girls out here, there's been several times that I've been on dates with girls, or I've hung out with them, and I've like been in communication with them. We've talked for a long time, and they're just like, God, I love you. I want to be with you. I want to make this a full relationship. I fully want to be committed to you. They'll say that to me, and I'm not quite there. Or there's other factors at play to where I am not either ready for a relationship, or I don't want a relationship with specifically them. So all that, and I make sure to tell them, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm not the guy. Like, it's just not the time. It's not the right situation. It's not the right... I'm not feeling it. I'm not vibing with it. Okay? So I'm out. And then 2 weeks later, they go out and they're dating somebody else. What the fuck does that tell me? Okay? So you were fully ready to commit to me, like as if you loved me, or as if you were like fully engaged with what was happening here. Now I get it. I'm not bitter about it, because I already told you I wasn't interested. Good. Go find somebody else. Go find somebody else. But the thing of it is, if you were so ready to commit to me, if you were so like in love with me, or so attached to me, and 2 weeks later you found somebody else, you know what that tells me? You didn't give a fuck who it was. You just wanted a relationship. There are so many girls out here that they don't give a fuck what's going on, as long as you are able and willing to date them. It's this independency complex. They're codependent. They can't be independent. And that is the exact opposite of me. So many of these girls out here just cannot not have a boyfriend. And that drives me fucking crazy. If you're going to commit to somebody, to be in a relationship with somebody, and be codependent with somebody, it better be somebody that you are willing to do that with. Fully and honestly and full-heartedly. Not just some fucking guy that wants to date you. That's crazy talk. And that's partially why I'm not in a relationship. It's because I haven't found that someone. I mean, there's other factors that go into play with a lot of this shit. But I've not found that someone that I'm willing to make that commitment to. And so, but so many of these girls out here, they don't give a flying fuck who the other dude is. And that's a great question anyway. How many relationships on both sides, the guy's side and the girl side, if not both at the same time, how many relationships have started where they were just wanting to, like, they didn't give a fuck who it was, they just wanted to date. They just wanted a girlfriend, or they wanted a boyfriend. And that's how the relationship started. And then they somehow figured out that they actually like each other. That they actually have things in common. How many times have relationships started like that? In addition, how many relationships have blown up because of that? Because, oh, you want to date? I want to date? Why don't we just date each other? Who gives a fuck how we might get along, or if you like anything about me? Let's just date. And then you turn to find out that, oh my God, this person is the exact opposite of me. They like all this different things, and I fucking hate them. You know what I mean? Don't date just to date. How about actually, like, grow to know someone. That's another problem with me, is so many of the girls and so many of the women out there that I've actually wanted to commit to were girls that I had been friends with for years. So I truly knew who they were, and I fell in love with them from that. And obviously I was physically attracted to them as well. But by that time, see, this is the whole fuckery with women too. By that time, I was in the friend zone. So it didn't fucking matter that I actually had real feelings. Because, is that a thing? Is it a thing that, like, women just have, like, short-term bonds that they get attached to, and then dudes have to have, like, a long-term bond that they attach to? Because that kind of seems to be the case. As a guy, you're kind of just fucking taking a chance. Because it seems like so many girls are just like, I love you right now. You're the guy for me. I'm fucking in love with you. And then I'm like, I need to actually get to know you. I barely fucking know you. So then the guy has to be like, okay, well, let's date. And then they have to find out the easy way, or like they have to find out the hard way either way, that they either like them or they don't. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why your boy is single. So, in conclusion, are we dating the same guy? No, you're not. Because I have been single for a long time, and unless something crazy came along, unless just the right thing comes along anytime soon, that shit ain't changing. Like I said, I'm open. I'm open and willing. I'm fully I have an open mind to the situation. But it better be the right situation. Because otherwise, your boy just don't give a fuck. I got other shit going on in my life. Sorry. Are we dating the same guy? No, you're not. Alright. I want to wrap this up by talking about, since we're on the topic of women anyway, Caitlin Clark, okay? This whole Caitlin Clark shit is getting absolutely out of hand. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I'm finding myself to be more and more of a, I'm at least interested in the WNBA and what's been going on with the WNBA, okay? I'm at least intrigued. And I don't think the WNBA has been talked about this much in 6 months than its entire existence combined. Okay? The WNBA is absolutely on fire right now as far as just the interaction and fans talking about it and just people talking about it in general. And the leading reason why, I won't say the number one, it's got to be the number one reason, right? It's Caitlin Clark. She changed the game. From a player standpoint, not because she's some like outgoing, like antic, crazy gal. I'm sure she has a good personality, and she says, you know, she's fired up, and she gets rowdy during the games and shit. But it's because she's skilled. It's because she's talented at basketball. Well, naturally, she comes into the league. She comes into the WNBA. And all the girls can't fucking stand it. Because this is another thing that I've noticed about women, is the number one thing that women hate is other women. They cannot stand, like, if a guy looks at another girl, they're like, what does she have that I don't have? Well, why are you looking at her? Women fucking hate women, okay? They might have girl power and, bitch, I got your back, until you don't, okay? Even her own teammates haven't been sticking up for her. Because all these chicks can't stand that she's getting all the publicity and she's getting all the fame and signing all these massive deals and shit. They hate it. Rather than leaning in and like supporting her and pushing for the WNBA to be more competitive and more people to be like her, or trying to up their game to match her, they just want to cut her down and try and bully her and bitch about it. And, well, Angel Reese coming out and saying, she's not the only reason the WNBA is growing. I'm part of it too. What, bitch! Now, that statement alone wouldn't be bad if you said, this isn't about one person. The growth of this league is not about one person. It's a team. It's about all of us. We have all helped to grow this together. That's the right statement. But to be like, well, I'm also good at basketball. Well, what about me? Yeah, you're talking about her, but what about me? What a fucking selfish thing to do and say. Caitlin Clark hasn't once come out and said, yeah, I'm the sole reason the WNBA is at the peak that it is. Even though that is a true statement. She hasn't come out and said anything like that. But then Angel Reese is like, well, me too. Hello? Can anybody see me? But look at me! Fuck off. Like, yeah, maybe you do have some kind of an impact on the game. Maybe you are part of the reason that people have talked about it. And I believe that to be true. But you don't come out and say that. And then the other chick tackling her to the ground and calling her a bitch. And then Angel Reese getting up and high-fiving her. Angel Reese fucking hates Caitlin Clark. But so do all the other bitches. They all fucking hate her. Because she's the top bitch. She's number one bitch. And she's fucking looking down on all you guys like this. And then to top it all off, she's the number one fucking female player, right? At least, like, now I know the NBA is a little bit more competitive than college was. And she's going to find her groove and she's going to get way better. She might not be the number one, top tier player in the WNBA. She's definitely in there. But she's easily the most popular. She's easily the most well-known. She didn't get invited to the Olympics. There's a gal that she got invited. I think she's 41 years old and she's on the Olympics team. And you're not going to invite the chick that can shoot it from half court? What the fuck are we talking about right now? And their excuse was, we were afraid that her rabid fan base would be upset about her lack of playing time. Fuck you. The reason the women's basketball team isn't going to get any views is because she's not playing, you dumb fucks. How the hell do you go about this and not put her on the team? I don't care if she doesn't get any playing minutes. People are just excited to see her in a USA uniform helping to support the United States women's basketball team. Who cares how many minutes she gets? You're going to get way more views with her on the bench than you are with anybody else playing. Sorry, that's just facts. So, all this dude, it is insane the amount of hate that Caitlin Clark is getting. Now, this is why it's crazy. The hate isn't coming from the media or the public or the social side of it, which is usually where hate comes from in sports. All the hate is coming from within. It's coming from all the other players, all the other teammates, everybody else, all these other chicks in the WNBA. I'm sure her teammates are like, well, she's stealing our spotlight, even though you're the worst fucking team in the WNBA, and she's here to try and help make you better. And then they're not even, like, getting her back. They're not even helping to support her. Idiots, bro. This is why the WNBA isn't as successful as the NBA. NBA, they pick each other up. They know what's good for them is good for what's good for the goose is good for the gander, okay? For some reason, the WNBA can't seem to fucking wrap their heads around that. Hey, her success is your success, dummy. Click, click, click. My God. Maybe they'll get it figured out. Hopefully, the public outcry is strong enough to get Caitlin Clark on the USA team. Because that is an absolute fucking atrocity that she's not on there. Ugh. NBA and NHL playoffs going on. God, it breaks my heart because my Uncle Don would be absolutely ecstatic right now. He was a Celtics fan and he was an Oilers fan. So for both those teams to be in the championships, and I think this is the Oilers' First time since like the 90s of being in the championship, which is crazy. And it's the first time I think this is the first time a Canadian team has been represented in the in the championship since in like 20 years. And a Canadian team hasn't won the championship in like 30 years. So part of me kind of wants to root for the Oilers. At the same time, they're kind of a rival to the Avalanche, so it's hard to root for them. I think the Panthers are already up 1-0 on them. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I have no dog in any of the races. If the Celtics win, that's fine. If the Mavericks win, that's fine. I have no issue with any of these teams winning the championship this year. So, if it's not the Nuggets or the Avs, I mean, there's always teams that I don't want to win. And the Celtics, I could kind of want them to lose just because they've won a lot already. And Boston sports piss me off. At the same time, it's my cousin Aaron's team. It's my Uncle Don's team. I got a soft spot for him, so I don't care either way. It is what it is, no matter what. So, all right, that'll wrap us up this week. Thank you all so very much for joining me. Make sure you get yourself some new Cutthroat merch. We got the Coors shirts, we got the PBR shirts, we got the koozies. It's all available. Just come talk to one of us, message us on our page, whatever you got to do. Be your authentic self. Be unashamed of who you are. Be your authentic self. And you will benefit for that. But most importantly, don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it.
Just gotta keep on keeping on.
Life's a garden, dig it? You